we're going to talk about how do we create the right attitude, because you're going to need to make sure you have the right attitude, because for many of you, even for somebody who comes into my programs that are experienced, there's things they're having to switch because their business model is broken, to tweak it up to make it even better. And you have to make sure you have the right attitude, because if you don't, it's going to slow you down. Ultimately then, if you have a negative experience, common sense should tell us that there's also a possibility to create a positive experience out of it. There is no such thing as a one-sided coin. There's no such thing as a one-sided piece of paper. There's no such thing as a one-sided piece of bread. Once in a blue moon, I like to get jam on bread with a little bit of butter. What side of the bread will I put the jam and butter on? I will put it on a side. There's two sides. I have a choice. There's no such thing as a one-sided piece of toast. So it's impossible for anything to exist with only one side. With that being said, if you have an experience, and because of your negative experiences, if you're not careful, that is all you will focus on. All of us here have had negative experiences. The human tendency is for us to focus on the negative stuff, not the positive stuff. And I'll give you a quick little exercise that kind of proves that a little bit and gives a demonstration on it. Next point in your handout, where it reads, you are, fill in the blanks here. You are the sum, put the word sum in, you are the sum total of everything, add the word everything. You are the sum total of everything you've ever, add the word ever. You are the sum total of everything you've ever experienced from the day that you were born to this very moment. With that, I'm going to create a little illustration here. Here we are. I got a little conjoined head there, so we got two heads. Let's say that we took a video from the day that you were born, the moment you were born. We took a video and videoed your entire life to this moment right now, and we never stopped the camera. And I give this video to like the most amazing Hollywood movie producer that we can find. And I tell that producer, I want you to take this video of your life, and I want you to take 3 minutes of that entire life of that person and make a video picking 3 minutes of all the crap they've been through. So when we watch the video, it's so depressing, we'd want to give up and just kill ourselves. Show of hands, how many of you feel that you have that 3 minutes of video in your life? Yes or yes? We all do. Did you notice how quick you responded to that? Because we all can relate to the pain. But notice it's a little bit harder sometimes for us to respond quicker to the next thing. On the other hand, we take that same entire video, we give it to this amazing Hollywood producer, and we say, I want you to take 3 minutes of this person's entire life. And I want you to make 3 minutes of a video that when we watch this video, we will feel unstoppable. We will feel as if we could walk off a 12-story building and it won't even stop us. How many of you feel that you have that kind of footage in your entire life? Yes or yes? We all have that. The problem that we're having is many times you're focusing on the negative video. The negative video keeps you safe. And the reason we focus on the negative video, because if we work toward making the move to the next level, taking that leap, that quantum leap, we have to get out of our zone, and we're no longer going to feel safe because we're going to be reminded of some of the pains in the past when we experience some more challenges of the future. That is why, hint, 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 cold plunging is so important, because it puts you in a concentrated position of time where you learn to master that. But nothing can hurt you more than your thoughts. Nothing can heal you more than your thoughts. Philosopher Seneca said, you suffer more in imagination than in reality. Oh, let me repeat that. You suffer more in imagination than in reality. So this is why people don't make quantum leaps in their life or their business. Now, what's a quantum leap? If I were to ask you, how many of you are here to make a quantum leap, most people would raise their hand without even knowing what the real definition of a quantum leap is. Here's what the definition of a quantum leap is for me. A quantum leap is the ability to move when you are not ready. Think about that. The ability to move when you are not ready. Many of you thought about maybe doing this program with me. How many of you had some thoughts where you were coming up with some excuses? I don't know, I'm going to be traveling, I got to do this, that. But because you ignored those excuses, you made a quantum leap, yes or yes? All right? That's what's called a quantum leap. Now, if you had ignored that and just rewarded, I should say, if you would have rewarded those thoughts, you would have not been here with me today. Are you glad you're here learning today? Yes or yes? Or maybe no, I don't know, right? So you made a quantum leap. It's the ability to move when you're not ready. So what happens then when we think about moving but we don't? What we're doing is we're buying into the excuses. Then you don't make the quantum leap. So there's many times that's another reason that cold plunge is so amazing, because you'll want to make a quantum leap, you'll want to move, but your brain will go, no, too much pain, I can't do this. But if you ignore that, you will move when you are not ready. You will find that you have attained more in your life because you felt that you weren't ready and you moved when you weren't and you got more results because of that. For a lot of people that are average, they will feel that they're not ready and they'll wait till the fear becomes minimal and they'll wait too long and the opportunity will usually pass them away. Or they could have started 20 years ago and now they're having to start 20 years later because they weren't willing to make a quantum leap. So here's what I want you to do. In your handout, you'll see the word my. Fill in the blanks. My future. My future, this is going to be so powerful. My future is my present. My future is my present. What do I mean by that? This is great, good psychology right here. What we mean by that is if you have a negative thought, you're projecting a negative outcome of something, it will then create in you a feeling in the present. So then my future thoughts become my present emotions. You want to manage depression and never have it again? Manage this. If you ever feel sad or depressed, I will assure you it is because the present feeling that you're experiencing right now in the present comes from a thought that you're looking back in the past that's negative, or you're projecting a negative outcome. Period. End of story. Every time. You hear about these people who are ready to commit suicide and a cop grabs them before they jump off the bridge. I will guarantee you the reason they want to commit suicide is because they have nothing to look forward and their future is negative. Does that make sense? I know that because I've been there. On the other hand, when we have a positive outlook, because what's the difference between a negative thought and a positive thought? The outcome. So if we have a positive outcome of which we have a choice, we then create from the positive outcome a positive what? Feeling. Either one creates a feeling. How did we create this feeling? We fabricated it. What do I mean by that? We made it up. Either one of these are made up. If you feel happy and excited, you made it up. You fabricated that. If you feel depressed, it's not going to work, things don't go my way, you fabricated that. You made that up. So if we have a choice, because there's no such thing as a one-sided piece of paper, there's no such thing as a one-sided piece of an experience, which one would we rather choose? Well, this one's going to make us feel better. Now, here's the interesting thing. We've manufactured a feeling. What does that cause? Feelings will then create a belief. Feelings create a belief. How many sides does a belief have? It has two sides. What are the two sides? It is faith or doubt. Either one of those are a belief. Faith is a belief. Doubt is also a belief. What do these two things cause? What do they create? They create what? They create a feeling. Talk about a mind game, huh? So then, if you have a belief of faith, what kind of a feeling do you get? You get this feeling. The happy outcome, the excited feeling, the feeling of joy, the feeling of anticipation of creating and doing more and going forward. The opposite would give you the opposite. So the next thing that we want to figure out then, what does faith create? Faith creates, you might want to jot this down, faith creates the natural ability to take, what's the key word? Action. Look at that. So then if you have a projection of a positive outcome, it creates a positive feeling, which creates a belief of faith, and faith creates the natural ability to take action. How amazing is it to have the natural ability to take action? You don't have to listen to motivational music. You don't have to pop pills. You can get high on your own supply. Wow. On the other hand, what about doubt? What does doubt create? Here's what doubt creates in us. Doubt creates powerlessness. It also creates inaction. It also creates stress. It creates anxiety. And we can go on and on and on. Here's the thing. The people that you sell to, they buy from you, as we said earlier, because they feel like it. Every word out of your mouth creates an environment that makes them feel like buying from you or not buying from you. That's very, very powerful. This is why it's so important to be a master of what you're doing here. And it doesn't happen overnight. You got this is all new for some of you, right? Now, so if this is true, are you getting them to focus on the outcome, which creates a feeling of faith, which causes them to make a purchase because they're in an environment that they feel that they can do it and create the outcome, which gives them the natural ability to take action? And when you have that, you are energized. How many of you, when you look at an outcome and you feel that it's really going to go your way, you have that natural ability to want to take action and move forward? This is why I get up. This is what causes me right here. This is what causes me to typically get up at 4 and 4:30 every morning. I don't need anything to wake me up. In fact, I would probably wear you out at 4:31 in the morning once I got out of bed, because you're going to, why is he up so early? Why is he moving so fast? Because I have an outcome I'm looking at. That's it. And you know what I noticed? The higher this is, the earlier I wake up. The lower this is, the later I wake up. Other than if I choose to sleep in. So I'm constantly looking at things to do. I'm constantly looking at outcomes. I met a guy and I did an interview with him. What a lovely gentleman. He's still alive. His name is George. George, when I interviewed him, he was 103 years old. George is now 105. By the way, when he was 103, he was on the ski slopes in Aspen skiing. Crazy. I said to him, what keeps you going? Why do you wake up in the morning? And by the way, when he wakes up in the morning before he has breakfast, he does 45 minutes on the treadmill at 103 friggin' years old. And he said, Gary, here is why. I have too many projects that I have to accomplish. He has so many things going on. That's why he wants to wake up and get going. And as you get to know me, and Camille will tell you, I got so many things going on. I got project after project. I got to wake up early and get it done. But if you don't believe in the outcome, no wonder people are prone to depression and alcohol and these other things. Is this making sense so far? Yeah, it's good stuff. It just shows you how powerful the mind is. So how do you create an environment that they feel like buying? You get them to focus more on the awesomeness of how it's going to be when the outcome happens. Not, oh, it's not going to work for me. I'm no good at this. I can't do anything. And in fact, if you make them see and understand what's going to get them this outcome is they're going to have to actually put the work in, then you're going to go ahead and attract people that are willing to put the work in to get the results. You get somebody who's lazy, they're not going to get the results. So you don't want lazy people. You want people willing to put the work in that's going to make the things happen. But here is your problem. The pain of it not working out, often if you're not careful, will become clearer than the pleasure of the payoff of it working. Let me repeat that. The pain of it not working is clearer than the pleasure of the payoff of it working. Because we'll focus on this more than we focus on this. And anytime throughout my day-to-day activity and whatever it is I'm doing, if I'm feeling a little this, I'll know right away, what's this? What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, this is why I can put $50,000, $40,000 on an American Express card. Because I have so much of this. And one of the things that I encourage you to do is borrow some of my belief. Take some of my belief. Because sometimes it's going to get altered. And there's other people that I borrowed their belief from. You know, I get altered. I'm human like everybody else. But this is where I focus. That's where I focus. So, here's the bottom line. When you learn to put your words together in such a way that it causes people that are listening to you to replace their anxious, their inaction, their it won't work for me, with a irresistible offer of a future outcome that they can see, then you've created an irresistible offer. Let's go to the next point on your handout. The monumental difference between a negative thought based on doubt, put in the word doubt, the monumental difference between a negative thought based on doubt and a positive thought based on, put in the word faith, based on faith, is the outcome. The monumental difference between a negative thought based on doubt and a positive thought based on faith is the outcome. So what's the difference again between the negative thought and the positive one? It's the outcome. That's it. The outcome. Whose choice is that? Ours. Get your clients to focus on the outcome. Let's look at things realistically though. Okay, Gary, this is great. It makes all the sense in the world. But I am human. What if once in a while I slip up a little bit? What if I I see a little bit of that negative a little bit? How do I manage that? Well, let me share with you the number one belief that I created decades ago for my life, that's changed my life, that gets me going, moving forward when I feel that I shouldn't or feel that I can't. It's the next point in your handout, and it will change your life if you apply it. When my feelings, where you see the words when my, put the word feelings in. When my feelings are not in harmony, put in the word harmony, with my goals, ignore my feelings. What feelings? When my negative feelings are not in harmony with my goals, what are my goals? To have an amazing coaching career and a speaking career and change people's lives. When my negative feelings are not in harmony with my goals, ignore my feelings. That's what you got to do. Ignore them. When we have a negative emotion or a positive emotion, you have a choice of doing one of two things. You'll either ignore them or you will reward them. If you keep rewarding the negative feelings, what we're doing here is we're staying back in here and we're not breaking the pattern to skip from here and jump back over here. So if you try your hardest and you just can't get out of this right here, you know what I do? I ignore the feeling. How do I ignore it? Well, how would I reward it? Here's how I would reward it. I would take the day off. I wouldn't do the next 5 things on my checklist. I would just maybe take a break for an hour or two. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't think Camille will ever tell you that she's ever heard me take a day off because things were bad. And have we ever had a bad day before? Camille, let's be realistic, right? I just don't do it. Why? Because if I have a checklist of things that need to be done, they're going to be done. I don't care how bad I feel, because I'm going to learn to ignore that negative emotion. And when I learn to ignore that negative emotion, it tells me that I am taking control of the emotion, not that the emotion is taking control of me. Let's go to the next point on your handout. When you ignore, this is a very powerful statement for you. Put in the word ignore. When you ignore your negative feelings is the next word. When you ignore your negative feelings, you demonstrate faith. Ooh. When you ignore your negative feelings, you demonstrate faith. Next point, when you demonstrate faith, fill in the word with faith, you get results. Ooh. Do you see how having your head mentally straight and understanding how to play games with your mind instead of your mind playing games with you is so vitally important to your success in anything? Very, very powerful content here, all right? You want to make sure you apply this information. Enjoy that? Yeah, good stuff? It really, I'm telling you, this is where it's at. This is going to make or break you right here. This is it. This is the game plan. On any project that I do in my life, this is what I focus on.